Hi, this is Shaun Bartlett, and on Top Bins this week, I've got the pleasure of Stanton Lewis to give his insight and obviously talk about a little bit about his career as well, how that went. Good morning, Stanton. All good?
Morning, Coach B.
Yeah, Coach B. Yes, I've had so many names over the last couple of weeks. People calling me, Fabian called me Madala, Grootman.
Yeah.
You come with Coach B.
You fit all of them.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. Normally, obviously, we start somewhere in the sense where you ask, where did it start and whatever, but I'm going to flip the script a little bit. I want to know, my first question is going to be, who is Stanton Lewis?
Yeah, well, Stanton Lewis is a simple guy from the ghetto. Made his way through life by the grace of God and football.
Yeah.
And now is a family man and a businessman.
See, that's what I like about your answer, and that's the reason I asked it, because a lot of the times in South Africa especially, footballers think, the first thing is, no, I'm a footballer, I play for Pirates. And we get that wrong. That doesn't define us as a person. And what you just answered now is what I actually wanted to hear. You're a family man, you're a husband, you're a brother, you're a father. And that are the, I would say, priorities in life in order to get to where you need to be. Football for you obviously came into your life. Where did that start?
In the streets of Bosmont and Nuclear.
Yeah.
It's where I grew up. My parents was divorced, so I was always split between the two houses.
Okay.
Just playing there. Somebody saw me, said I must come and play for an amateur team. And from there, things just happened for me. Obviously by putting in some work.
Yeah. So were you part of any development academies or?
So I started in the local leagues, and Wits picked me up from that league. From there I went to Pirates. From Pirates I went to Ajax Cape Town's youth academy. Okay.
And what age were you when you broke into the Ajax Cape Town first team?
I just turned 17 when I got called to the first team.
Okay.
Made my debut when I was 17 against Chiefs. And by 18 I was gone to Ajax Amsterdam.
Okay. So you weren't that long at Ajax Cape Town?
No. So I had 2 spells with Ajax Cape Town's first team.
Yeah, of course.
The first season was in 2005. And during that year I had a good first season in the PSL. And Ajax Amsterdam asked me to come on trial, and I went there, and Marco van Basten was a coach at the time, and he liked me, and he took me over.
What was the biggest eye-opener for you getting to Amsterdam?
The level. The level of everything. The level of discipline, the level of basics that they learn there.
Okay.
They're on another level. And things that we take for granted over there is what makes or breaks a player.
Would you say you were a little bit disappointed in the sense that maybe you didn't get a fair chance at Amsterdam?
Yeah, I think I was a little rushed with playing in the first team.
Yeah. So
cup games I get called up and you be on the bench and you don't get some game time. You play for young Ajax. But at the time they had Klaas-Jan Huntelaar, they had Luis Suarez, they had Ryan Babel. So you're competing with top class players. And if you're not on their level, you're going to fall down the pecking order. The only problem was that I think myself and my agent rushed for me to play. Okay. And we immediately started looking at loan deals, and the club wasn't too happy with that.
Do you feel maybe it was a little bit also, like you just mentioned, a little bit rushed in the sense for you getting to Europe? Do you think you should have stayed maybe another year or two longer in South Africa?
No. There, I believe that I was ready. Okay. I've had numerous trips to Amsterdam before. The lifestyle, the language was quite easy. It's basically Afrikaans. So I adapted very quickly, but in the playing style and the demands of the club, I think I needed a year or two to just settle and get used to the pace of the game there. And if I did that and not rush after 8 months looking for a loan deal, I remember we had Dortmund there. I went for 3 days to Dortmund and Ajax called me back. I believe that it was the right time. I just needed more time to settle in Amsterdam.
So who was the major influences, you would say, growing up in your life and career? Not in your life in general, but also in football. Who was the major influences for you?
Yeah, I would say my parents. They played a big role.
Okay.
Without them, I wouldn't have been able to go to all the training sessions that I had at Wits and Pirates. And then my brother, because he was always older.
Yeah.
He always thought he was better than me.
Is that the singer?
That's the
I think I've met him once or twice.
Steven,
yeah.
So growing up it was tough because he's 3 years older, and I used to play against him 1v1s in the yard, and that just made me better. And he thought that he was good, but he was actually developing me to become a stronger, more physical player.
It's amazing sometimes. Obviously, I've got 3 boys of my own. How many boys do you have now?
3 as well.
3 boys. Okay.
Yeah.
So we can make a 5-a-side.
Easily.
It's amazing. There's that old saying, God just didn't give me a brother, he gave me a best friend. And that was pretty much with you as well, with Steven.
Yeah. Until today, I mean, he's supported me my whole career. He even moved to Cape Town at one stage.
So I'm not going to ask you, obviously, how many years you spent at Chiefs, how many years you spent at Amazulu and Arrows, but give me your insight as to your experiences at different clubs. Obviously, I think when I was coaching with Mushin, you came to Arrows as well.
Yeah.
And obviously that was a different experience for you. You got injured in training, didn't you?
Yes, I tore my ACL.
Your ACL, yeah. So how was the experiences? Because the reason I want to talk to you today is I feel that you had a great career in prospect, but there were so many things going against you.
It was a journey that I appreciated. It was a tough one, but it was rewarding at the same time. Short-lived. A lot of the teams that I played for was good to me. Chiefs was good. It was a different experience here in South Africa. Other than Ajax Cape Town, because that was the only club I really knew on a professional level. I moved to Amazulu. I was surprised there as well. It was professional. It was good. Coaching was good. Clive Barker was still alive and there. So I had a good time there. And then Golden Arrows, obviously, I always say the coaches make a team. And I was blessed to have you and Coach Mushin as our mentors and coaches there. And I enjoyed it up until the time you guys left. So I got injured. Obviously, I had major injuries. But I still say I can be proud of what I've achieved because I was always disciplined. I was always at training. I always did what I needed to do on the field. And things that is out of your control is an injury, is a patella tendonitis, is 2 ACL ops, is Achilles. I mean, it's just crazy. But I thought I'd never give up. I was always a fighter. I'm the youngest of my siblings in the family. So I had to fight for everything, and I think that just sparked later on in life as well, where I fought to stay up and relevant and a good family man and a father figure.
So obviously you mentioned the fact that coming from the ghetto and even your career itself was tough in the sense of the injuries. Having 3 boys of your own now, how difficult is it to almost not let them go in the same industry as you?
Yeah, no, it's very difficult because they love the sport. I always told my wife is very, she's in the academic space and that is most important to her. And I agree with her. I never ever forced the boys to play, but they chose it. They love it. They play all the time. I always say they need to, especially with my eldest, he's 16, you need to save room for disappointment. But if it's your dream and if you can wake up every morning, do gym work on your own, train on your own, make a schedule for yourself, then you really want it. The two younger ones, they 5 and 8.
Okay.
They both play under 8. The 5-year-old, I think, is special. I just have normal chats with him. You know, just go and have fun and play whatever. But with the 16-year-old, it's a little different because he has expectation that he will make it. And you have to really work hard to make it, as we both know.
Yeah. Now, I always believe, you know, let the kids grow up, and whichever career path they want to choose, you just go and support them. But I think both of us having played in the football industry, I think that's the guidance we can give them. You know, they shouldn't make the same mistakes that we made. That's the first thing. Yeah,
I guess we're there to guide them. We've made those mistakes so that we can guide them in the right direction. It's not easy, because I think when you make it, you become your own person. You become a different person because you're there, and you very seldom would does players take good advice from former players. You always want to learn yourself. So as long as we build their character and a good foundation.
So all three of your boys have the gene?
I would say yes for now.
Yeah.
Until you reach a certain age, and then there's girls come in play, parties come in play, and we've spoken about all of that with a 16-year-old who has potential to be a real good player. Sure. But we are not forcing, and we are, myself and my wife we always say that we would not be disappointed if he does not want to play anymore.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think both of us have very strong wives, and I was privileged to be at your wedding as well. Yeah. You know, when I was in Durban. So I think that educational side, what you spoke about, is very important because we see it so much, especially these days. When players are done playing, there's nothing to show for it, is there?
Yeah, and that's sad because I think you should leverage off your name while you have a name. Yeah. First of all, we always think that our careers will last forever, and I preach this to the likes of George Maluleka, all the guys that's close to me. Yeah. You'll never play forever. So start planning now, and while you are relevant, make use of it. Make use of your name, make use of because we all know that footballers, most of us, we have discipline and we know how to run our lives. Yeah. So it's easy for you to take the next step into business or anything else that you want to venture into. So yeah, education. I strongly believe if my kids don't do well at school, they are not going to soccer trainings and they will miss out on playing. So they love playing and going to training. So they make sure they put the effort in at school.
That's always a very fine line, isn't it? Because I also believe, playing sports, it does improve the mind, and can help you in the educational side as well. But like you've indicated, you need to keep your grades up if you want to do sports. And to find that balance, I think that is so testing for these youngsters these days, because also social media and all other external influences is massive for them.
Yeah, I think you need a balance in everything. And that's where we struggle at the time. Most times is with the boy being on social media and playing. And you look 2 hours later, he's still on social media looking at Instagram and getting influenced by Kamavinga's dress code. And no, Kamavinga can dress like that because he plays for Real Madrid. The boy will come out and say he wants Christian Dior or a Gucci bag. No. You work for it and go there and let that inspire you in the right way and not in the wrong way.
Yeah, I think we also the same in the sense where, my wife had to curb me also, because growing up not having certain things and suddenly we are in the position to give them, my wife said, no. They've got to sometimes, got to work for things as well. You can't just keep giving them. They're never going to learn anything from that.
Yeah. We don't have to treat them the same way that we were treated or bring them up the way we were brought up, because we played football and we made good choices and a better life for ourselves for them to have a better life.
Exactly.
So we always just try and make sure that their minds are always intact and solid, and the material things will come at a later stage once you have achieved it on your own. And you don't have people saying that's Shaun Bartlett's boy. That's why he's playing for Chelsea.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
he's done it and he's got it on merit. And I believe strongly in that.
So you've spoken about your injuries, and this is always something, because I had a fair share of my injuries as well. How did that affect your mental health?
It was terrible. It was before the World Cup. I remember coming back on loan to Ajax Cape Town with patella tendonitis. I thought I'd get over it. I played through injections, and I was part of that squad that was just fighting, just almost there. And eventually the knee just gave in, and I had to go for an op. I think that was the hardest blow of my career. But mentally, I just had to stay positive. I knew for the first week I did nothing. The first week after I heard I was going for an op, I was just home, playing PlayStation, eating crap, and I guess I needed that to get over whatever. I just knew that I wouldn't turn to anything else, other substances that would alter my mind.
Sure.
And my family was there, my wife was there, my one son was there at the time. And that inspired me to come back from that setback. I came back, and I came back strong. I had a good season with Ajax Cape Town. That's when I went to Chiefs. Amazulu was okay, and then Arrows, I got injured again. But at Arrows, it was the end because it was the ACL. Yeah. I did the op. I came back again. I think I went on loan. I came back from the loan after Chipa, and the ACL went again on the same knee, and that's very rare. Yeah. And I got advice to say, listen, you're gonna have to stop now. And again, you go through the same feelings and emotions that I had a couple of years ago with the patella tendonitis. And again, it's something you don't expect. It's something you don't plan for. Yeah. So you become lost. You're lost in the system. You're lost. And fortunately and lucky enough for me, I thought business immediately. I thought, look, I need to get into something other than football. And that kept me going because all I knew was football. Yeah. And the only money I ever earned was through football. And now I see there's other opportunities and other businesses that interest me, and that kept me going because I had to provide for my wife and my kids. Yeah. And some extended family. So I was always driven and wanting the best for everybody.
They always say the two most important days in your life is obviously being born and finding your purpose. What is Stanton Lewis' purpose in life?
To give back. I believe that we all enjoy nice things. We enjoy, all the blessings of life. Yeah. But for me, I think over the years, I've gone in and really searched for talent that would never be discovered and gave them opportunity. I mean, whether it's a waiter or a cleaner at a place, they are human beings, and I think when you are kind to those kind of people, they feel valued. And I make sure that I teach my kids and myself to always look and help those people.
And post football, what has Stanton Lewis been doing?
Geez, a whole lot. So I went into the taxi business in Durban. I had a couple of taxis there. I had
with the boom systems as well, because you can't have a taxi in Durban and not have
no.
The subwoofers and the big.
So no, I didn't.
No.
I wasn't
then
competing
it can't be
with
a
the
Durban
guys.
Taxi.
It's more the Indian guys, to be honest.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
That invest in the taxis. I just thought, let it just transport the people in peace and no one complaining about headaches. Yeah. But then I had a barber shop. I think you came there with a couple of times.
When I still had hair.
Us. Yeah, and then the restaurant as well. Joburg, I went into a gas depot.
Okay.
And yeah, I've dabbled into legal cannabis as well.
Okay.
So the medicinal side of it.
So what advice would Stanton Lewis give to youngsters that wants to make it into professional football?
Be prepared for the journey. Be prepared for heartbreak, but also look forward to all the good times, all the yeses, all the thumbs ups. Listen to your parents. Stay disciplined, stay focused, and keep dreaming.
So you have no intention of wanting to be in football?
I am. I think today would be the first time if I do mention that we are currently in the process of hosting one of the biggest international under-17 tournaments.
Okay.
Club football. I'm talking to Ajax Amsterdam. I'm talking to Bruges. We send out the invites next week, midweek, to all the local clubs. And it's basically just to start what I always dreamed of, is getting players seen, scouted, and transferred to Europe.
Okay.
Like you did in the Premiership, you lit it up. I'm sure we can get a couple of more Shaun Bartletts by hosting a tournament like this and of this magnitude.
Do you think the drive is still there though for our players locally to want to go to Europe? Why don't we see that many in Europe? If I'm not mistaken, the top of my head, I can only think of Lyle Foster at the moment.
In the top leagues,
Yeah.
Yeah, we have Lyle, and that's sad because you guys have paved a way for us, and we should have just carried on and continued with that. I always go back to saying you're only as good as you are coached.
Okay.
And if the coaching is not good and the youth and the development that you come from is not good enough, you're not going to make it in Europe. On the flip side, players are earning well in South Africa. They're comfortable with their lifestyle here.
But they actually don't realize what they earn in a month, they can earn in a week in Europe.
100%. And you could also just go to Europe directly from a youth academy.
Yeah.
Nobody knows who you are. You go there, you play football there, and at the end of your career, come back to South Africa and enjoy playing for Sundowns, Pirates, Chiefs. You have options.
Yeah.
But our players, they don't aim high enough. And your Sundowns, your Pirates, Chiefs, with all due respect, becomes your limit.
Yeah.
But go and play in a place like England and Holland and France. Your life just changes immediately, and they don't realize that.
So you mentioned earlier on about how Ajax Amsterdam opened your eyes and the level and the discipline, obviously, that goes hand in hand with everything. So when you talk about development, what age do you think we should start teaching our kids to take that pro route?
Depending on how serious you want to be or your club is.
Okay.
I always think that you need to have a club that wants to achieve and wants to be professional. Even if you are an amateur club, you get the right coaches in. You can start by, I would say, from under 7. That's where kids can concentrate for more than 15 minutes and do the basics, build a foundation. Once you have that, the basics are far more important than your individual skill and flair moments.
Yeah. Well, it was a very interesting chat, and I've been wanting to do this for a while with you, and I appreciate your insight and advice, because I think it's stories like this that our kids need to hear. If they want to make it to the top level, what's required, what's needed, what's necessary, and too many times, these kids also, their dreams get shattered by coaches. Like you've said, you're only as good as the coach that's teaching you.
Yes.
So I do appreciate your time, and all the best for the future.
Thank you.
We didn't even touch on your golf.
No, that we can leave for another day.
Is that going to be another episode?
Listen, that's another episode.
Is it?
Yeah. When I get better and I can play with you and compete with you, then we can chat about it.
Why does everybody want to beat me?
Because you've done really well in the golf in the golfing world.
Okay.
So yeah, we also want to be on the Super Sport Challenge with you and compete.
Oh, nice. No, well, hopefully soon we'll have that invitation coming towards you. So I appreciate your time and obviously everything you've done. Thank you, Stanton.
Thank you for having me.